Have you ever really, truly thought about what it means to be everywhere at once? I mean, it sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this concept actually has this incredibly deep philosophical history. Today, we're going to unpack a fascinating logical argument from an ancient text that tries to do just that.
So, let me ask you a super simple question. Where are you right now? You're probably sitting in a chair, maybe at a desk, or walking down the street. The point is, you have a specific location. You are here, and not somewhere else.
For us, this is just a fundamental rule of existence. It's so obvious, it feels kind of baked into the fabric of reality itself. We're physically bound to a single spot in space and time, and this simple, common-sense idea is the absolute crucial starting point for the entire argument we're about to get into.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. The text we're looking at takes this rule and applies it to beings you might think are totally exempt, beings like angels. The argument actually starts by establishing that even they are confined to a particular place.
So let's look at this comparison. On one side, we've got angels. The text describes their nature as being circumscribed, which is really just a fancy way of saying they're confined or limited. They exist within a specific boundary, in one particular place. They are not everywhere at once.
And this isn't just some random claim. The author actually gives us specific examples to prove it. See, an angel was with a man named Cornelius, but that means he couldn't be, with Philip at that same moment. An angel spoke to Zacharias at an altar, which meant he wasn't simultaneously up in heaven. So it leads to this really clear conclusion. Even for an angel, it's an either-or situation. You're here or you're there. You just can't be both.
Okay, so we've set the rule for angels. Now the argument introduces this huge, dramatic contrast. It brings in a being that operates on a completely different principle, one that doesn't follow the rules, the Holy Spirit.
Remember our comparison slide? Let's fill in that other half. While angels are confined, the Spirit is described as all-embracing, a being that fills the world. And this just brilliantly highlights the core of the argument. We're not talking about a small difference here. This is a fundamental, deep-down difference in their very nature.
So how does the text back this up? By showing simultaneous action. The author points out that the Spirit was at work with the prophet Habakkuk, and at the exact same time with Daniel in Babylon, and with Jeremiah in a prison, and with Ezekiel by the river Chebar. 4 different people, 4 different locations, one Spirit, all at the same moment. This isn't just about being in one place. This is being present in all places where action is needed, all at once.
And to really drive this point home, the author pulls in this incredible, poetic quote. It's not a question that's actually looking for an answer, you know? It's a statement about the impossibility of escape. There is no place you can go where this presence is not. It just perfectly captures the essence of what it means to be truly omnipresent.
Okay, so we've established the what. One being is confined, the other is everywhere. But the argument doesn't just stop there. It asks us to really think about the profound implications of this difference. I mean, what does it actually mean for a being to have this attribute?
This is the central question the text is posing to us. The author is leading us down this very clear, logical path. If a being is not confined, like an angel, if it's everywhere at once, then what kind of being is it? What category does it even belong in?
And here is where the argument lands its conclusion. It defines divine nature as the very quality we've been talking about this whole time, being infinite, all-embracing, and not confined to a particular place. The logic is so direct. If a being is omnipresent, it must, by this very definition, be divine.
So, if omnipresence points to a divine nature, how do you acknowledge that? Well, the argument takes this really fascinating turn right here, connecting this huge, abstract idea to the very practical concept of giving glory.
The definition of glory on this slide is, well, it's pretty specific and maybe not what you'd expect. We might think of glory as praise or worship, but for this author, it's much more concrete. To give glory is simply to list out, to enumerate, the wonderful attributes and actions that belong to a being.
So the author's final point is this. You don't need some special formula to give glory. The highest form of glory you can possibly give to the Father, the Son, or the Spirit is to simply recount what is true about them. Their power, their goodness, their omnipresence. Simply stating the facts of their nature is the act of glorification. It's a really powerful and actually very simple idea. And that leaves us with one final thought to ponder. If the highest form of glory is simply observing and stating the wonders of a being's nature, what does that imply for us?
Does that change how we see acts of wonder, or science, or art? Could simply describing the truth of what we see be its own form of praise? Definitely something to think about.